Now that we've added our network controller to our BakPak account, we're going to go through virtualization. This occurs after we've already done our device discovery, and now we have our devices available on the MP36 BakPak Cloud Management System. So first thing we want to do is from the dashboard option is go to virtualization. From virtualization, you have group management. This is where we're going to create our groups, and we can create groups across multiple job sites or multiple MP36 profiles. Then within the group, you have a set of actions to apply. So we're going to select the group management so we can create a group. We're going to click on the plus sign at the top right to add new, and now we're going to make device selections from different profiles. And we'll do one more. We're going to name this group. We'll call it device group, and we're going to select a set of actions. You have firmware management, configuration management, power control, and we're going to do logging and click on create. Now that we've created our device group, if you click on this device group, you can see the different devices that were selected, and these are the devices selected across multiple profiles. The total number of devices is here in the circles on the right-hand side. The gray circle is for other, blue is for packaged devices. We have 10 packaged devices. So we're going to start looking at the set of actions that we apply to this group. If we click on virtualization, we can click on firmware management, and here's our device group. And now you can see the devices that are grayed out do not have a firmware update option. However, the other devices are those that are compatible with the firmware management option. So you can see down below, you have the model, the file name, which is the latest firmware, and you have the file size and version number. So if you wanted to apply a specific firmware to all S24 HAVs, you can click on apply to all, and it will apply this update to all S24 HAVs across all profiles. And if you wanted to apply it only to the selected S24 HAV, you would just select the S24 HAV and click on the apply to selected option. Now, if you wanted to apply all of these firmware options available to all of the devices across all profiles, all you need to do is click on Apply Latest Firmware to All, and it's going to run all of these file updates for all of these hardware models. Now, if we go back to virtualization, we have the Configuration Management option. Again, if we click on our device group, we can see what devices have a configuration file option available. So you will notice that we have multiple 60Ds, and we also have multiple SX24Ps. These are the backup configurations that have already been processed from the device discovery page where you would initially do a configuration backup. So if you wanted to apply a specific configuration for a specific product, you can do so. If you wanted to apply the SX24P configuration, we have 5 different configuration file backups, so you can apply any of those configurations to this particular unit on a specific profile. So you can select which one you want to apply to this unit. Now, if we click on the virtualization option, going into power control, we have again device group, and these are the devices that we have an option for setting up anything to do with power control, because these are devices that are PoE. So if we select a P20, we can select specific outlets, and then we can create what we call a new port group. So if we want to create a new port group, I'm going to call it PoE PDU, and then we can go to another PDU from a different profile. It'll display the outlets, and we select the outlets we want to also apply to that same group. Click on OK. Now, maybe I want to add a new port group, so I'm going to select new port group. And I'm going to call this one PoE outlet. So if I go to a different profile where I have another power distribution unit, I can select the specific outlets I want to apply, click on add to port group, and now I have my PoE outlet port group that I would prefer to apply those outlets to. Now, if I have my S24 HAV, again, this is 24 port PoE. So I can select the ports and I can click on create new port group, but I have it for my switch ports. So if I go to my SX24P and I also wanted to apply those to that specific port group, once it populates all my ports, I can select the ones that I want to apply, click on add to port group, and I'm going to select the switch PoE and click on OK. Now on the right hand side, the second option from the left, you can see where it says port groups, and there are 3 port groups. Remember, we created 2 for the PDUs and 1 for the switch. So now if you click on the port groups, you have PoE PDU. You can see the outlets that were selected per profile per device. If you go to PoE outlet, you see the outlet selected per profile per device. And then when you go to switch PoE, you also see the same thing, the ports selected per profile per device. So as a recap, if we go back to our virtualization, we were able to create a group. This was our device group. We selected multiple devices from different profiles and placed them all into one group. We selected a specific set of actions to apply to this group. We selected firmware management, configuration management, power control, and logging. If we go back to virtualization, we walked through how to select your firmware management per device per profile, your configuration management to restore a configuration for any device across all profiles, and we also did power control and walked through how to create a port group. Thank you.